excited. It's been really competitive on both sides of the ball. It seems like we're both offensively and defensively having fun, competing. We're in the facility like 24/7 now, so it's like we're always seeing each other, but we're doing like other activities like playing cards, any other kind of competition like walk, one-on-one kind of deal, like just any kind of goofy thing we can do. We're like around each other and we're building like each other every day, and it's really exciting.
What's the most goofiest game you guys have played?
I couldn't pick just one. Like we're all over the place with it. Like we got some really goofy guys on the team.
Who's the most competitive?
I don't know. We're all like that. I mean, recently we just been bowling. It's like the biggest thing. My dad got us out there to go bowling about a week ago.
Who won?
Huh?
Who won?
I couldn't even tell you. We were doing like offense versus defense, but it was all over the place. We got some guys that can bowl and some that just flat out just throwing the ball down there for no reason. So it's funny to see. But the main thing is like we're all having fun being around each other, and it's not like I don't know. Like it's just a really fun experience now. Just seeing each other and just actually feeling the brotherhood of like DOB, just seeing the competitiveness from everybody.
Very good. Questions?
Willie, you did get some playing time last year and kind of different roles. How important was that for you to get some experience on the field, as a true freshman?
I think it was really important and it was really exciting. It taught me a lot, and I think it was good because COVID, you get that year back, so like a 3-year kind of deal. It was like in my eyes extra reps. It helped me to see things as a receiver's perspective as well. And it's kind of like a repeat of my high school career. My junior year when I moved to Tallahassee, I played a little bit of receiver, a little bit of defense. But then my senior year, I came out and played quarterback again. And it just helped me. It helped benefit me in other areas that I couldn't really get just being strictly quarterback. So it helped teach me a lot, and I could just learn different areas, point of views, and things like that.
The quarterback really does bring in some new faces, particularly a guy like Coach Willie, who has playing time at a big-time program like Miami against big-time competition. How important is it to learn from something like that? What can you take away from a guy who's played at the top college football level?
It's really important, and it's really it's exciting because he's gone through a lot of things that I obviously haven't yet, and I want to one day. And I can just, if I want to be somewhere like that, it's great to have someone like that around because he's going to teach me way too different things to do that. So I'm glad that we got him here, and I'm glad for the guys that I have in that room because not just him, but Michael and Nick and Coach Johnson, they're all helping each other every day. And I feel like we all bring a certain piece to the table that it's like I'm learning from not just him, or not just Nick or Michael, but like just all of them collectively. And it helps build me confidence. Like my confidence has risen because of them. My knowledge of the game has risen because of them. And I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to be around.
Okay, anybody else? Go ahead, Colby.
What was the biggest thing you've learned from being around the guys like in Coach Perry who has experience?
From him, I've learned just how to be poised and just learning how to just be a calm, cool, collected guy. Like you can't just lose your composure. I want to say, like from Nick, I've learned just knowledge of the game. Like he's taught me fronts and coverages and just how to like break things down. Simply, like just a couple days ago, the defense was running a coverage that if I was on the board, I couldn't tell you, but I saw it on the field because of Nick. Like just helping me how to read things. From Michael, I'm learning how to just extend plays and how to be smart with the ball like Bill. So it's just like I'm learning a different piece from each one of them, and it helps me in the long run.
So, kind of a two-part question, but it doesn't have to be. So I feel like the outside consensus is that the quarterback battle is between two people, and maybe some people are out of it, including you. What do you say to those people? And also, if you don't get the starting quarterback job, what are you learning and bringing to the team this year?
So to the first part, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, I was just saying like maybe the outside consensus thinks that you don't get the starting quarterback job. What do you say to those people?
I don't really say anything. I mean, I don't really have to care what they think. I'm focused on just competing every day, and I'm trying to get 1% better for me, and trying to help the team in any way that I can. I would like to start, but if it doesn't happen, I understand. Like I'm young and I'm still learning, I'm still growing. So I'm still just gonna build for a better tomorrow kind of deal. still just learn from the guys that I got here now, because they're going to move on one day, and it's going to be on me to do it. So, I'm learning while I can.
Are you prepared to play in different roles this season like you did last season if you don't get the starting job?
I'm strictly quarterback now, so it's like I'm going to learn and grow there. All that's from last year, and I'm focused on that now.
Anybody else? Very good. Thank you.
Updates on the past week. Practice has still been going good. We're still installing new things. I'm still picking up on it very well. As far as the scrimmage tomorrow, I hope to obviously do very well. Do as many touchdowns as possible. Have the highest completion percentage I can as possible, like any other time. But I think it'll be very good. I want to see how we do as an offense. If there is adversity in the scrimmage or not, we'll see. But if there is adversity, I want to see how we react and how competitive we are.
What has been one of the biggest things you've seen out of the offense improve from last week to this week?
Could you repeat that?
What has been one of the things you've seen from the offense that has improved from last week to this week?
Has improved from last week to this week. I think the overall confidence of the team, I feel like everyone is buying into what we are doing now. I feel like they're believing in the plan that Coach Taggart and Coach Johnson has for us, and it seems like we've been clicking a lot better this week.
Coach, so, you went to the transfer portal. You definitely had some suitors. What stood out at FAU? You were transferring to make this the destination to finish your college career.
I've always been talking about FAU with one of my teammates from high school, Glover Cook, because he's been here for the past 2 years now. And then when I went into the portal and I started talking with Coach Taggart, I felt like he was being very honest with me, not just trying to tell me what I wanted to hear, but let me know nothing is going to be handed to me and have to compete. But it was kind of close to home that played a role in it. But Coach Taggart also played probably the biggest role in the team as well. I feel like I can relate to them and they can relate to me, and it wouldn't be too hard to build their trust right away.
I think you offer a little bit of an interesting perspective. You played as a backup last season behind Derrick Canyon. You were able to learn behind one of the better quarterbacks in college football. Kind of a two-part question. What did you learn from him, and what do you learn from playing as a backup that you can now carry over into this competition?
I learned a lot of things from Kenny, to be honest. But one of the main things is the time and preparation that he puts into the game. It shows on game day. And that's the main thing I try to take from it, and that's what I try to do now. Put as much time as I can in the football, in the film, no matter what it is. Try to get better at something every day. And King is very good at being in the facility at all times, so that's one thing I try to do here, is be here at all times, no matter what it's for.
What kind of things are you looking for from out of yourself going into the first scrimmage tomorrow?
Like I said before, I want to always throw as many touchdowns as I can and have the highest completion percentage that I can. So for me, the main thing would be the completion percentage. I want to complete as many balls as possible, make sure my reads are right. Even if I complete a pass and it's the wrong read, for me that's not good. I want to make the right reads and the right completions. So that'll be the main thing. When it comes to a game against the University of Florida, for FAU, that's very huge news. It rarely happens. For a team like University of Miami, that happens kind of every other year. What type of experience are you bringing to this team? Is there any advice you're telling the players if they're feeling that nervous tension? Once we get close to the game day, we'll see how the nerves are with the team. But as of right now, I don't think the guys are nervous. Like I said, I feel like they're buying into what we're doing, and they believe that we can win. And that's the main thing, and that's what it takes. All we got to do is believe. And I'm not the only guy with experience on this team that has played in big games, and that's a huge thing and a great thing about this team. We have multiple guys that have been on a higher level, and that'll be huge for us, I think.
Have there been any players like further down the depth chart in the wide receiver room that have impressed you during the first 2 weeks of camp while working with them?
Honestly, all the guys have been impressing me. Legente in the slot is obviously I feel like a dynamic player that we have. We have a lot to mention, but I like them all.
You know, we were talking to the offensive line coach and one of the offensive linemen yesterday. What are you seeing from them? Are you getting great communication from them? What are you most impressed about with the offensive line?
I think they have great communication, and I think our offensive line coach is doing a great job with them. This is the first impression and only impression I had of them. I don't know what they did previous to before I got here, so from what I've seen, I'm impressed with them, and I like it.
And Coach, I got one more question about your Miami career. And obviously, those first 2 years, you were kind of in and out of the starting lineup. You'd start a game, and then after sit a couple of games, and come right back in. What did you learn from a situation like that, where you're not a guaranteed starter every single week, but you know you're in the competition every single week?
That goes back to preparation. You always got to prepare like you're the starter, no matter if you're the number one guy or the fourth string guy. You got to prepare as if you're going to play that game. So that's what it comes down to: is preparation. And the mental always have to be together. Like, you can't worry about what the outside is thinking, because at the quarterback position, only one guy can play. And at the quarterback position, we know that. So the mental definitely have to be together. But it's all about preparation.
Most important question today and last question. How's your bowling game?
My bowling game, it went well. Since I got here at FAU, my bowling skills has definitely went up.
Oh boy. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Camp's been, I can say, competition field. With the offense and defense. I can say that's took a huge step from last year. We have an explosive offense, and just being able to compete with those guys, them getting us better, and vice versa. Competition within the team is very important, and I feel like it's going to help us a long way throughout this season. Just seeing so many things that the offense brings, and so many pieces that we have on both sides of the ball. So just competition is everything, and that's one thing that's really been helping us this fall camp. And just this weekend, it's just going to be basically just to see where we're at, and see what we need to do, what we need to improve on, just to fine tune the things that ultimately will help us on September 4th.
What type of things are you trying to look from yourself during the first scrimmage tomorrow?
For myself personally?
Yeah.
Just paying attention to the small details. It's all about the little things. As a football player, you always have to be attention to detail. Just alignment, assignment. Everything within me. That's everything. That's the main focus. Just the small details within everything. Everyone as a player can focus on just doing their job. But the main thing is just focusing on the small details and doing your job. That's going to come along with it.
It's another defensive coordinator for you. How to make that transition again. What has stood out about Coach Dukes' defense in particular that is maybe different, but what you learned from a guy like Coach Dukes who's got the experience at head coach level at Alabama?
Yeah, a guy like Coach Dukes, he has a great football lineage, has a family, and just understanding that everything he says and everything that he's taught us, he's done it at many high levels. So it's not a willingness. It's a willingness of wanting to learn and wanting to get better and wanting to know more things, because the places that he's came from and the success he's had, I would be, not me personally, but just everyone would be crazy not to pay attention and not to listen, as what was going on. So having Coach Dukes on the side, that's a great addition.
What do you feel has been different from last year compared to this year? Obviously, we had the COVID season and stuff like that, but what stood out to you as different this time around?
Definitely competition. Like I started off with saying, just competition in practice. You compete in practice. It brings out so many things within the team. You see the nature of guys. You see just the drive. Just everything just comes from competition. Competition levels have been extremely high, and I feel like that's just going to benefit us tremendously.
And you think COVID really just downed that from last year?
COVID last year was definitely tough, because we never really had a game where we had our full strength, our full roster and our full capacity. So just having being able to have the fans now, having just a sense of we're gonna be able to not really have any type of mishaps or excuses as to why we can't do anything. COVID, we didn't try to use it as an excuse, but it was definitely tough. But this time around, just looking to see him to have a fair shot at everything.
Tyreek Tisdale mentioned to us the other day that Carter Odell's a guy that has like read the playbook religiously and has been involved on the special team side of the ball. What have you seen from him as far as what his work with the safeties group?
You know, Carter Odell is a guy that works extremely hard. You know, he's extremely driven. You know, he might not be the biggest, he might not be the fastest or the strongest, but he has that general willingness just to work. You know, and that's something that me as an older guy can just appreciate. Just look to him even for motivation. You know, because I look at all my teammates, you know, and I respect their grind and I respect their willingness to work. And Carter Odell, he doesn't complain. He doesn't even when it gets hard. He doesn't say anything. He's just gonna put his head down and he's just gonna work every day. That's all he does and that's all he knows.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach, if you can just open it up with a little bit about how the closing of camp and moving into the scrimmage and then next week with classes.
Well, it's been a short camp. Usually we have more practices than what we have this year, but because school started here soon, camp is a little shorter. But we have a scrimmage tomorrow, which will be a big situation scrimmage for us. So looking forward to see our guys go out there and get everybody off the field and have to execute throughout the scrimmage. You know, so that'll be big. That'll be a big scrimmage for our players. And so they know that, they understand that, and I'm looking forward to seeing how guys gonna respond to it. But so far we've had a good camp. We've gotten better, and I see our guys understanding what we're trying to do. They have a better understanding of what we're trying to do now. And again, tomorrow will say a lot now because we'll be a little more out of the practice atmosphere, more in the game-like atmosphere, and we'll be able to see how guys execute without guys getting in their ear. They have to go out there and take care of their business.
What kinds of things are you looking at from the quarterback room heading into the first scrimmage tomorrow?
Well, who's going to operate the offense consistently enough? You know, and operating the offense is not just throwing the ball around, handing it off, but just rallying the guys and just leading that group. You know, who can do it consistently enough that's going to end in touchdowns. You know, we want to score. You know?
Have you seen anybody that has been that vocal leader out of that quarterback group?
I've seen all of our guys got so much better when it comes to being vocal and speaking up and saying things that they need to say. You know, they all better than what they were this time last year. Again, and we're not asking all of them to just be that rah-rah guy. You know, there's a time and place for that too. You know, but usually our quarterbacks are sharp guys and smart guys and have good things to say, and sometimes they don't need to keep it to themselves. They need to let their teammates hear it, you know, but their teammates want it too, you know, and all eyes are on those guys, you know, not just the offensive guys, but defensive guys are watching the quarterback as well. So, and for me, that's what I want to see is who can operate that way and get this football team to believe in them and play their tails off of them.
Kiki mentioned to us that Antarius Mosley is a guy in the inside linebacker group who's been really impressive. What have you seen out of him through the first 2 weeks of camp?
Well, he have a better understanding of what we're doing, and I think more importantly, just growth. You know, he's a year older than what he was last year, and he's stronger, he's faster. But he's one of our most instinctive linebackers we have. I mean, he plays fast, he plays to the ball, he plays downhill. There's not a lot of hesitation, you know. So Mosley's going to be a good football player for us, you know. And he's had a really good camp. Him along with Eddie Williams. I feel like both of those guys have done a great job doing training camp, competing in that position. And I feel really good about our inside linebacker group, the guys that we have there competing.
Coach, with classes starting up, you know, I think a topic of focus for a lot of colleges and college athletes is going to be their own mental health. You know, how do you
Say that part going to be on.
their own mental health and, you know, making sure that they're in the right headspace, you know, not only to play football but focus on their classes. You know, how do you, as a coaching staff, help make sure that these kids are focused and, in the right headspace?
Well, we just try to help our guys understand what and how they need to do things. Understand in school. Our guys will have a day off where they just focus on academics and get ready for academics. I know Sunday we'll be meeting with our guys again about their classes, where they're at. Some of our freshmen will go to the buildings on Sunday to make sure that they know where they're going on the first day of class. You never get a second time to make a first impression, so we'll make sure that they're all there, sitting in the front row, and make sure they know their professor's name. But those are all things that need to be taught to the freshmen. Our older guys know and understand what it's like. It's different. It's been a whole year since we've been like this, so it is different. I look at my son. This is the first time he's really going to experience what college is all about. So it's going to be different for him as well. So we can't overlook that, knowing that if we overlook that, that's going to affect football. So we have our kids' best interests at hand when it comes to academic, football, and social. And making sure that we keep them aware of what's going on and keep help guide them to get through it all, because they can't do it by themselves. And they count on us to help them.
Speaking of your son, we were just talking to him a little bit earlier. What have you seen from him so far in this camp, even though he's just a freshman, young learner?
Growth and a lot more confident than what he was last year. And that's what a year will do for you. And I think for me personally, I've learned a lot too throughout it all, and learned some things not to take for granted. Just because he's been around football and been around me, he's still one of the guys. And he's still young. But just watching him grow and being confident in himself, being confident around his teammates, I think I took that for granted, just how that was, how uncomfortable it was for him being a freshman. He's my son, and being around the guys, and that relationship with him and his teammates, how that affected him. Just have a better understanding of that, and he has a better understanding. Now he's one of the guys, and I think they know he's one of the guys. He's not a snitch. He's not gonna come tell dad everything. But no, it's cool just watching him grow and just be one of the guys. His teammates, seeing them hang out with him and call him Willie Taggart. That's his name now. So it's cool to watch him, seeing the smile on his face, but more importantly, seeing him confident in himself and seeing the growth in him. And from a football standpoint, I look at him just the second time in his career where he's had some consistency with football. So just seeing that growth, it's been fun to watch.
A lot of the guys in the locker room, whether they've been on special teams or safeties, have been raving about Carter Odell and his progress this camp. What are your thoughts on him?
Carter's a blue-collar worker. He's a guy that's trying to take advantage of his opportunity. He's a guy that I hope all of our other walk-ons are watching and taking notes. Pretty cool, because for them to talk about it, he's getting noticed. He's out there making plays often, and to me, that's what you have to do when you're walking on and you're trying to earn a scholarship, earn some playing time. And he's been like that ever since he's been here, and I can see him helping us win some ball games right now.
Anything else? All good? Thank you.